Hey guys, welcome back to Skyward Entertainment.
Yeah, we're here doing our top games of 2016. We're going to do them in no particular order because some games do things better than others. Some games are totally different. It's hard to quantify and put them in a list in a certain order, like this game is objectively better than the other. Like, it's just impossible. It's not right to do. So yeah, in no particular order.
So every game's a winner.
Every game is a winner.
So without further ado, let us get straight into it. Doom. The first thing I have to say about Doom is that the soundtrack is incredible. It was composed by Mick Gordon and it's absolutely beautiful. Every song, I haven't heard a bad song in that whole soundtrack. It just fits so perfectly with the theming of the game. It's a return to the old school shooter mechanics that emphasize constant fast-paced movement. Every little arena you have kind of forces you to jump around and be very fast and constantly be moving, fighting the enemies with incredibly satisfying gunplay in massive levels that encourage the player to explore and discover little hidden things. And finally, it just has this amazing protagonist that just has no time for anything in story based. He just wants to kill the demons, and he is really pissed off about those demons.
Yeah, I feel it's just the best natural evolution for the Doom franchise. The old school gameplay brought into the modern era. It's got amazing action and gunplay gameplay, like Josh said. The music, amazing again. No contest there. The glory kills are just so satisfying, and the variations of them is amazing. But yeah, the music like that is that makes the game in some way, because it just, I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but it feels like a metal orchestra and you're the composer. It totally blew me away. I wasn't expecting much from it. And then I remember watching the intro, where the Doomslayer picks up, grabs the demon's head and slams it against the table. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get this game. And it did not disappoint.
10 out of 10, would Doom again.
Would Doom again, definitely.
The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine.
This one's a bit of a cheeky one. It's Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. Yes, it's an expansion, but there really is more content in this expansion than there is in most games today. It's literally a whole new chunk of a game on an already amazing masterpiece of a game from last year, so it's just a totally amazing job, like what CD Projekt Red had done, and it's sold for, I think, £16, which is absolutely nothing when you consider COD season passes are £40. So that altogether, just, the game's always on sale. You should just go, if you haven't played a Witcher game already, go buy it. But this expansion is definitely worth it, and it's a fitting farewell for everyone's favourite white-haired monster-slaying detective, Geralt.
Yeah, you pretty much covered everything I was going to say, Kai, so thanks for that. It is just a DLC, but like Carl says, the sheer weight and amount of content that it provides, it might as well have just been a game in its own right. And the good thing about Blood and Wine as well is that if you do just want to play Blood and Wine, you can. You have that option to just jump straight into it. So, CD Projekt giving you options that you didn't really need. It adds this whole new area, which is absolutely beautiful, completely different feel to the rest of the game, and it's just incredible. If it was a game on its own, it would probably have been one of the best games of the year, which is why we put it on the Game of the Year list, even if it is just an expansion or DLC. That made no sense, but we'll go with it. Witcher 3 Blood and Wine, play it if you haven't already, because it is an incredible game, and I love it so very much. Dead Rising Remastered.
This one is a bit of a cheeky one as well. It's the Dead Rising 1 remaster. It was a great game when it was released, and in a world of shitty remasters and half-done ports, this turned out pretty great. Not had any problems with it. You may find it funny that we're putting it on Dead Rising 1 on a list when Dead Rising 4 came out in the same year, but for me, Dead Rising 4 was just, it was too much of a change from the Dead Rising formula. I mean, I enjoyed playing it, but the tagline, #Frank is back, when they changed the look of Frank, the voice of Frank, and the attitude of Frank, it was a bit ironic and a bit weird. And they also are selling the true ending, the overtime mode, as DLC. All of that just sort of made it a bit just not Dead Rising. Whereas with Dead Rising 1, I jumped straight back into that, played it through about 2 times, played it with Josh, had tons of fun with it. So yeah, that's why it's my game of the year. Oh, one of my games of the year.
Yeah, definitely agree with all those. And it just shows how solid that the game mechanics and the overall game design of the game really was back in the day, and it still holds up to this day. It's an excellent port, and it allows PC users who might have missed it on the Xbox a chance to revisit it. So yeah, technically it's a remastered, but we're just going to stick it on the list because who cares?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people prefer the ditching of the time limit and everything like that. For me, I kind of liked it, but it wasn't, it's not a game changer.
It's a frustrating feature, but it's part of the game, and it's what made the game so special, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck the Survivor AI in Dead Rising 1, am I right?
Yeah, every game has a negative. Watch Dogs 2.
I actually enjoyed the original Watch Dogs to a certain degree, but the story was quite depressing and was a typical grisly mid-aged male lost a family member, blah 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 revenge story. But it was fun and it was something different, but it wasn't what I imagine Ubisoft wanted it to truly be. So, but Watch Dogs 2 came out and has just improved upon it in every single way. Like it's a very bright, vibrant, colourful world that they're in now. It's really alive. There's tons of funny references and dialogue in the game. A lot of fun missions. I saw the trailer at first and I was like, oh, this looks so cringy, just wannabe hackers, like, oh, the cringy dialogue and the guy with the mask wrench. I thought, oh god, this is just going to be so painfully cringy. But like actually playing it is a lot of fun and it's not cringy, it's pulled off well. Like this game is just executed really well. It's basically what the original should have been.
I think when I first saw Watch Dogs 2, I was incredibly worried, like you said, that it looked like it was going to be too edgy and it was too cringy, especially after the failings of Watch Dogs 1. But it looks to not take itself seriously at all, and it's really just captured the fun side that it was looking for, and I think it pulled it off very well. So Watch Dogs 2 is on our Game of the Year list.
Yeah, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would just be fun.
Which is what you want in a game.
Yeah.
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Without the disappointing ending and the feeling that the game was too short and there were a lack of answers to important questions that we had throughout the game, Deus Ex, I'm starting off with lots of negatives, but I promise you, I had spent a lot of time on this game. Deus Ex is a well-designed stealth-based shooter with incredibly satisfying stealth mechanics, and it just played and felt really well. The setting of the game has always been a massive high point for Deus Ex and the cyberpunk world, and we entered a world with issues that were very on the nose for the time, such as the Black Lives Matter movement, where we had the All Lives Matter movement, and like various segregation problems, which we're kind of dealing with now with Trump and all that stuff. That's political stuff to one side. It's just, I was a little disappointed with the story because it felt rushed, but it was so compelling and it kept me interested that I just wanted the answers, and hopefully we get the answers soon.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Josh said. It's just a great improvement on Human Revolution, like gameplay-wise and graphics-wise. For me, the environments were a mixed bag. Like, I like the hub in Prague, but there's certain environments and levels that I wasn't too keen on. Like, they were just too big or just too complex for me. The stealth gameplay was excellent, but again, like Josh said, the ending, like, it felt a bit rushed. Like, it really feels like the game was just cut in half from a story perspective. Like things were just gearing up. The end felt like you were just taking down the first sort of boss, like pawn in a massive plan. But again, the reason that we were so like annoyed at how it ended was because we enjoyed it so much. Like when you care about something or like something a lot, if it does something wrong, it's going to make you more annoyed or more empowered to do, to voice your opinion, and you're not going to like it. You're not, so it's just like a great game marred by that ending.
Yeah,
like,
we're very passionate about Deus Ex.
Exactly, passionate, that's the word, yeah.
We enjoyed it a lot, and it was disappointing to not get the answers that we were looking for.
Like, I totally loved Human Revolution, but, saying that, I put 70 hours into Mankind Divided, so, for, like, cost effective, that's very good. It's just, that ending was a bit of a stinker.
World of Warcraft Legion. For a long time, World of Warcraft was really suffering. It was dropping subscribers. It was lacking direction, lacking innovation, and Legion came along and it was a breath of fresh air that it really needed to kickstart the world's biggest MMO again. It took the mistakes that made them Warlords of Draenor, and there were a lot of them, such as the garrison system, and it gave them a new spin, and it turned them into compelling features that didn't detract from the social feel of the game, and it kind of added just new elements, like as they were intended originally. It also brought a wealth of new exciting lore to the series with returning characters that we know and love, and the story advancing in an actual meaningful way instead of just some sort of side adventure in time and space like Warlords of Draenor was. It was the first time in a long time that I've actually enjoyed playing WoW again. I spent a long time playing it when it first came out, and I enjoyed every second I spent on it, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the new lore and stuff that's coming out. It's an exciting time for WoW right now. Yeah,
I have no real comment on this because I don't play WoW, but from what I've seen, a lot of people loved Legion, and like lots of expansions draw you into WoW for a certain amount of time, and then people, drop away from it. This seems to have like drawn in quite a lot for a much longer time than the usual expansion.
Hitman.
I was quite worried when Hitman was announced to be episodic and was going in that direction. I thought, what the hell were they thinking? That's ridiculous. Like, why would a game like that work in an episodic model? But it actually turned out to be better than I imagine it would be for just a straight disc release. It had a rough start with the always online feature people were complaining about, lots of bugs that like totally broke the game and just all things like that. But because it was episodic and they wanted to maintain interest over the months, they did continuous updates, quality of life improvements, adding small animations here, there, just fine tuning the game, which I don't feel it would have got had it been just a disc release. And also the episodic model was quite fun, just over time, like every month, 47 appears in a new place with a new target. It was a really great move, and a risky move, but it really paid off. Like the content's great. Like there's each 6 missions. You can think, oh, that's short, but every time I did one of these missions for the first time, it was literally between an hour and a half to 2 hours, like at minimum. And then you can go back in with all the challenges. There's constant escalation contracts being released, and just contracts on their own, just normal contracts being released by IO. There's elusive targets, which is an interesting idea. Like, I'm 50-50 on those still, but a timed target that you only have one opportunity to assassinate and escape with is fun. It's very tense. So there's a lot of great content. Visually, it's a gorgeous looking game. But yeah, it's an all-round great game, and the episodic model really paid off for them.
You can tell Kyle really loved this game. He's kind of covered every point that I was going to say. I just want to say, because I haven't played it too much myself, but I have played it with Kyle, and I was very cynical of the episodic business decision they pulled at the start, and I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, but I'm very glad to say that they proved me wrong, and they have shown that they wanted to keep working on the game, keep adding new features and content, and just keep the quality of the game at an overall high. Despite the problems they had at the beginning, they fixed all those, and I'm very impressed with the work they've done on Hitman. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
Uncharted 4 is the swan song for Nathan Drake in the quite brilliant PlayStation franchise Uncharted. Uncharted 4 is the culmination of like the whole franchise, and it really does not disappoint. It's an all-round amazing game. It's got absolutely stunning graphics. The environments that you go to are stunning. Like, they're just breathtaking. The variety, just how they look, they're just beautiful. Gameplay is solid. Again, across 3 games, it's been perfected, I think, in this. The story and the voice acting is all phenomenal. It's just an all-around great package. There's the multiplayer component as well, which I thought would be just like a tacked on. Oh, this is a big game with a multiplayer, big single player game with multiplayer tacked on. No, the multiplayer actually stands up on its own legs. Like, it is quite good. I'm also going to be a bit cheeky and just add the franchise as a whole in a way, because the Remastered trilogy came out in the same year, and that whole package, I mean, if you own a PlayStation 4 and haven't played Uncharted, like any of the games, then I guarantee you go out and get them. They're so good.
Is that directed entirely at me, Kai? Because
Well,
I do want to play
do
all
you have a
of Uncharted.
PlayStation 4?
I do not.
Well, I'd say buy a PlayStation 4, buy the Uncharted collection and Uncharted 4. Because it's just, the whole thing, like, 4 is just like a step apart from the others, though, because it's just such a high quality game. Like, it really is something else. It really is. It's like, some of the things you see and you think, really, the PlayStation 4 is like, you know, rendering is doing that. Like, that looks absolutely amazing. It's just breathtaking, some of the environments on it. And so, yeah, I got Uncharted 4 was coming out, I picked up the trilogy, the remastered trilogy, to see would it be my thing, and I just steamed through all of them in a short span and then went on to Uncharted 4, and that was amazing. It is literally the pinnacle of what the Uncharted series is, and it is a great send-off for Nathan Drake.
Darkest Dungeon. Probably one of the most anticipated early access games to come from Steam. It hit a lot of controversy as it was in the early access stage, where new features were getting added throughout its development cycle, and people weren't particularly happy with some of them, though I'm not sure why they weren't, but they weren't. And we got to see the whole development of this game, and to be honest, since the beta, since the alpha, it's been really solid, and the finished article just continued that trend, and it proved to be a well-designed, extremely beautiful, in a weird, dark, twisted way, just complete package of a game that had everything going for it, had amazing sound effects, had, like I said, beautiful graphic, like a beautiful art style that was very Cthulhian and twisted, and had this amazing narrator who I honestly want to narrate my life. And an interesting trivia for you, he does actually narrate Lovecraft novels, which is perfect, on Audible, so go check him out on that. Big advertisement from there. But he has an amazing voice actor. I love his voice so much. And the gameplay itself, it was brutally difficult and sometimes unfair, but in an odd way it was fitting to the theme, and it didn't really annoy you. It kind of just kept challenging you, and you felt okay with being, you know, punished, because it just fit well in the theme of the game, and it's just a very good indie game, and it's a very inspiring game. It's inspired me a lot in some of my game ideas that I've come up with over the years. So, well, I say over the years, it's only come out this year, but over this year. So I'm very, very happy to say this is one of our Game of the Years, Darkest Dungeon. Overwatch. Without question, Overwatch has the most iconic set of characters in a competitive game of its nature on the market, which to many people was the main appeal of this game. These characters, they really drew them in. We learned about the lore of these interesting and diverse characters through animated shorts and webcomics, and it's been a massive selling point, and I absolutely love every single character in this game. I think they're all incredible. But Overwatch, it just proved it wasn't just about its characters, and it managed to back all its pretty looks and its awesome lore that we're so intrigued in with some strong gameplay that is really satisfying, fun, fast-paced, and competitive. And it kind of carved a new genre for itself in the market that I think we're calling hero shooters, but it's really just started a whole new genre of games. And it's one of those games that is quicker than a normal traditional competitive game, such as the MOBAs like Dota or League of Legends. It just makes it really appealing to jump into, play a few games, and really just have a good time with.
Yeah, I agree with everything Josh said. For me, I feel when it came out, it didn't have that much content compared to other like MOBAs or sort of games in that genre that is now being called the hero shooter genre. The loot system, I think everybody, the loot system is pretty shit. It's clearly designed, you get 4 items in a box, you get 1 box per level. You can get duplicates, which it seems you tend to get more than anything else. I mean, they've they give you 3 a week now if you do arcade mode, if you win 9 matches, but there's plenty of bugs that take forever to get patched. The balancing can take a while. It takes ages for them to balance a hero. Like, there's some really annoying metas going on, but the community, from my experience as well, has been quite toxic at times. But regardless of all of that, I keep finding myself going back to it every time. I get that Overwatch itch when I've not played it for a few days. It's like, oh, you know what? Go on and play a few games of it. Like, I don't know what it is. I keep finding myself going back regardless of all of that. They've made a great game, like as overall package, with a great story, great lore, and great characters, which has set it aside set itself aside from the other similar games and kept the game alive. Like, give me those comics, give me those short story cinematics, give me that lore. I love it. Like, I love the world. It is, it can be a bit rough in patches, but as an overall, I am really happy that Overwatch came out.
So that was our list of top games of 2016. We tried to include games that we'd both played. There's a few that only one of us has played, but we thought they were good enough to be on the list. There's a lot of games this year that we haven't played, myself, for various reasons, but we have some honourable mentions that we do want to just throw in there that have been really good, and I just think they deserve to be mentioned. So for me, particularly, Heart of Iron 4 was an incredible game. I enjoyed the hell out of that. And Stardew Valley, very, very good indie game. I think that deserves to be mentioned at least. And last but not least from me is Dota 3. Dota 3. Yeah,
my honourable mentions are Titanfall 2, which had a surprisingly good campaign. It was very fun. It completely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting such a fun campaign from that game, especially for the single player, based on how the last one was. The online, it's got a good business model. They're not gonna fracture the community with map packs. DLC is gonna be free. There are some microtransactions, but I suppose that is you've got to pay one way or another, and keeping the community together seems better. My second and final honourable mention is Dark Souls 3. I love the Souls series. Every year you're itching for a new one. Right? Dark Souls 3, there were some pretty gorgeous locations and, standard great quality of content from Software. There's a few problems with the whole Poise debacle, stuff like that sort of soured it for me, but again, it's just a Souls game. I love it. It's always a quality product, and that one was really good, and that was the final entry in the Souls series apparently. So yeah, I felt like I had to give that a mention.
So without further ado, thank you so much for watching / listening. This is more of a listening experience, I guess, but we love you guys so much. Thank you so much. And if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe and like and comment and do all that stuff, and we will see you next time. Thanks very much, guys.
See ya.